Yes, they're complaining about Bowblax. They're complaining about Bowblax clipping them. Bowblax, Idubbbz. Bowblax owns you, and he also owns your wife's pussy. Because, from my understanding, he subscribed to our OnlyFans. That is a rumor that I've heard. Wait, why can't I see that?
Shit, like, fuck it. It makes me angry.
The accusations of us
really angry.
Stealing money makes me very angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, this is one of these things where, like, no one's going, or I would say, I haven't come across a video that explicitly states that we or anyone involved has, like, stolen money or whatever.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, with the irresponsible type of, like, commentary videos and reporting, it's basically all, like implied to the audience, and there's no amount of there's no amount of journalistic integrity to, like, take responsibility for, like, the message that you're spreading.
I know.
Oh my god. Oh, these conversations are so repetitive and cancerous, aren't they? No one, I don't think anyone on YouTube has got a requirement to journalistic responsibility in the same way a journalist publishing something in the paper has, right? Particularly if it's an opinion-based thing. But yeah, I mean, obviously stating falsehoods is gay and you shouldn't do that and should be criticized for that. My basic understanding of the Creator Clash 2 situation was simply that they overspent, I think. They spent a shitload of money. They were negatively impacted by stuff like the Froggy Fresh stuff. And it meant that the amount of money they got in didn't cover the costs. So they had to do some sort of, extra streaming to cover it or something. This is off the top of my head, if I recall correctly. I don't know. Yeah, they spent money on multiple parties. See, I don't know about that exactly. I just know broadly they overspent. What that was spent on, I don't know.
Well, also there was, like, leaked DMs of their, like, conversations
and planning
with each other,
it. Oh yeah, that whole, like, Keemstar shit. Yeah.
It's nasty.
Yeah, and it's all out there. I fucking recorded.
Is that about the Tea Party leaks? Is that a reference to the Tea Party leaks?
That's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Why does Ian look like a gay Timothy McVeigh?
Thank you for the €3. Yeah, there's like a group chat with a few commentary people in that I'm in, and they got leaked. It was Salvo. It was related to Salvo. Basically, the chats got leaked, and there was some shitty comments and stuff made in there. And is that what that's a reference to? Who leaked it? Salvo did, because Salvo had a bunch of accounts that were banned, and this was after he'd fallen out of favor with some of the commentary guys. But for some reason, Keemstar didn't remove the accounts from the chat, so one of his accounts got unbanned, and Salvo had full access to all of these chats. And he basically fucking got it all and leaked it. And I'm guessing some of it was in relation to this or something.
This one person basically who was in one of these, like, tea rooms, like this DM
they
group.
call them tea rooms.
Yeah,
like, tea is in, like,
right.
Tea.
Oh my god, it is! That was actually really funny, because I literally just got added to this group chat, and then it got leaked. And people were asking me for my... Well, Salvo and CJ Brown, I think it was, kept asking me for my comment on it. And I was like, I don't fucking know, bro. Some of these messages look kind of shitty, but I wasn't even in there when it happened, Salvo pancakes. But yeah, it was, obviously kind of embarrassing, really, to have this group chat, which is supposed to be a private affair talking about things, and for it to be leaked. So I'm guessing that came up in the context of Creator Clash. Well, I think, yeah. I mean, they're obviously overthinking it. I think it was just a funny name for the group chat.
Yeah.
They were just scrolling through. It was like a 2 hour, I think it was like two 2 hours, a part 1 and a part 2
Holy
of them
shit.
just scrolling through the DMs with Keemstar and Bowblax and all these people
Yeah.
Yo!
in their on their YouTube. And I was
Yes!
like,
Fucked
oh
up.
shit, this
It's
like
fucked up.
they're just talking all the time.
No, I know.
And like
Constantly.
plotting and
Yeah.
shit. Like, what do
Like,
you fucking?
makes him feel good, I
It's
guess.
so insane.
It's-
It's creepy.
It's creepy, and then it's also like I really don't get characters like that because they're also the ones who clip our podcast. You sit through an hour and a half of
Mhm.
our podcast
Yeah.
and clip something just to like put it on your timeline to like remind people that we exist. Like,
Yo! Oh my god, man. How far Idubbbz has fallen that he sat there entertaining this, man. Entertaining this fucking narrative of getting your shit clipped. Are you... Dude, bro. It's so tragic, dude. It's insane, bro. This guy was fucking calling people out for their shitty content and now he's crying about his shitty content getting called out. Yeah, mad at people posting about you on Twitter. Fucking hell, dude.
I want those people to forget that we exist.
Yeah, I would prefer that.
And like you don't have to watch it, bro. Like you
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
don't. So
Okay, I'm pretty sure the people that are watching it are doing it because they want some content out of you, no? God, it is the God. It is so fucking pathetic to sit there and entertain this line of fucking argument that these people are just sat there watching you and they just forget you exist and stop paying attention to you. That is rough stuff.
like but it's they just have nothing else,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
clearly.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Losers.
just part of the
Yeah,
content.
losers.
It's just part of the content. I mean,
That's
it's
the
like
the definition of loser to me.
Yeah. I mean,
Is
yeah.
someone who like
Dude, it's just... You had a big embarrassing thing happen to you. You overspent on an event and then you had to do extra streams to make up for it for charity. Yeah, people are going to fucking talk about that. Yeah, people are going to listen to your podcast and go, oh, this is cringe. I'm going to clip this and post it. If you don't want the smoke, don't fucking post it then. Don't do content. Stop making fucking content. It's just, to me, it is such a simple standard and principle to have. If you do not want people to talk about you and scrutinize you, don't put it on the fucking internet. And that's it. Okay? If you put it on the internet, you're going to get feedback, you're going to get criticism, you're going to get attention, you're going to get clips, whatever, good and bad. Ignore the bad stuff if you don't want to engage with it. Okay? That's it. It's literally that fucking simple. But these people, and this is what is so infuriating about this, is these people want to have their cake and eat it too. Okay? They want to simultaneously post stuff and get the admiration and attention and the money for doing so, but they want to do it without any negative blowback or scrutiny or criticism or anything like that. They just want the positives. They want none of the fucking negatives. That's just not how it works. Yes, they're complaining about Bowblax. They're complaining about Bowblax clipping them. I love the idea that fucking Bowblax, Mr. Twitter reader, is stuck in the fucking head of these people so bad that they specifically call him out and reference him. Crazy. Cringe. I probably won't do it today because I've got other stuff I want to look at, but I may well. I mean, dude, it's paywalled, man. That's like fucking DMCA City. Oh, man, that's rough. Other people are saying they might react to it. Maybe I will.
occupies their time with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because I think it wouldn't bother me if it was just like about us, but it affected the whole, like their like narrative building that they clearly did together, like affected the landscape for everyone.
And this is the other thing too that I think is very dishonest about this. What narrative is it that was presented that was inaccurate? Where's that part in this? Where's the negative? Where's the wrong statements that were made? You know, you're alluding to there being collusion and therefore narratives perpetuated that weren't true. Where's the proof of that? I'm sure that people said things that were wrong or out of pocket or guesses or something. But where is the substance of what was said that was wrong about what happened? What channels could you point to that perpetuated bad narratives about stuff? God, yeah, this podcast fucking sucks as well. Fucking hell, dude. Oh, God, it's so
was involved
cringe.
in Creator Clash.
Yeah.
I mean, there were people that like I think about the most innocent people involved, like our broadcasting team.
Yeah.
Like I don't think people understand this. We had to like have the FBI involved. The FBI was involved. We had the police, the Tampa Bay police were involved. We had to like track flight logs to see who was coming, who was flying in. For many, we had many names on that list. There were like 2 bomb threats. 2. We had
Point to the extremity of what happened and use that to characterize everyone under the same brush. It is such a fucking classic move by dishonest actors to try and invalidate and criticize broad criticism that you're getting, you know? And if it's even true, I mean, there's no evidence provided here. It's just them saying shit, right? Like, yeah. And also, if you do a big public event, you're probably going to get some shit that happens that you cannot account for that goes beyond even the internet, you know? Dude, it's so insufferable to listen to this, man. God, it really validates. What was it? Moist Critical talked about Idubbbz, didn't he? And he got a bunch of shit about it from woke retards. But his point, I think, was fundamentally just don't talk about your change and just move forward, right? And I think if Idubbbz had done that and hadn't made such a big deal out of this pivot towards this woke perspective, it probably is true. But no, he's got to make this big fucking meal out of it. And now he is at the point where he sat there with his missus on a podcast moaning about getting scrutiny and criticism. The guy that made... Okay, listen, I don't want to get into the memes too much. The guy that did Content Cop, critical of other people's content extensively, is now crying about getting criticised with his girlfriend on a podcast. I mean, dude. Intellectual cuckoldry on full display here. Just fucking crazy. Anisa blew up on Keem in DMs during the Tea Party leak. I mean, I'd like to know what aspect of the leak they would point to, which was so wrong, you know? Which was, I mean, essentially a bunch of fucking YouTubers gossiping privately about something.
We had 2 bomb threats. And because we had the FBI involved and all of this beforehand, we actually did a bunch of bomb sweeps with dogs during, before, after the event. It was insane.
Yeah, that way when the bomb threats like essentially come in, I think...
Yeah, his changing wasn't what got him criticism. It's the fact that he merely pointed his sword in a different direction while pretending to be above his previous behaviour whilst engaging in it. Yeah, true.
They could essentially be like,
Yeah.
well, we've been...
Clearing
we
it.
cleared it ahead of time.
And constantly.
And no one's come in and out. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, it gives them a lot more confidence that these are just, you know, swatting, basically.
It's swatting. Yeah. So like were we on it? We had the FBI and all of that involved so early on that like, yeah, I don't know. It having to explain to like the production team and broadcasting team like what's going on and what not to look at because it's just so toxic.
Yeah. And it's just confusing for anyone who's living a
confusing.
normal ass life.
I mean, yeah, you're going to get a load of fucking attention because you're controversial going into it. You engaged in behaviour that generated further controversy during it with the Froggy Fresh shit. The whole thing was mired in controversy, and you can't just put that down on bad people calling in fucking bomb threats, okay? It goes beyond that. It's your own actions that generated this fucking perspective. And that's beyond the fact that you're putting stuff out publicly on the internet that people are going to talk about and fucking scrutinise. Well, I think he's in with a kind of Hassan type audience these days. I think Hassan has been quite sort of generous towards him. Didn't even go to his house, maybe, if I I'm not misremembering. And I think that H3 has also given him a kind of,
Okay,
a bit
that's
of a chance
wonderful.
too, right?
But how do I make money off depressed people?
Cosby getting mad that someone spiked his drink.
Thanks for the super chat. Bro, his wife don't even shave for him, but shaves for only for... Okay, listen. That is toxic. That is very toxic, okay? That is extremely toxic. Not even a San audience watches his videos. He can't even get 500,000 views anymore. I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, beyond this podcast, I don't even know what kind of content he does anymore.
Like,
yeah.
I don't expect any of these people to know what the hell's going on. Like,
Yeah.
this shit's like confusing, and like when you come across it and you're not part of it, you're like, this shit's like creepy and weird.
Yeah.
Like, what?
What?
Am I in the right place?
I know. And we
It's like-
stepped on such a landmine that we did not know was a landmine at the
Mhm.
time,
Yeah. Yeah.
which sucks. You know,
Yeah,
to have
it's
that
crazy.
explode in
Mhm.
during the they waited. He waited like 3 months to start being weird.
Yeah. Fuck.
People are saying in chat, Sam Hyde won. I mean, yeah, he did, didn't he? I watched that when it came out, I remember. Because, yeah, Idubbbz obviously tried to do this video on Sam Hyde, and Sam Hyde just endlessly fucked with him for an entire fucking week. Oh. I made a Super Monkey Ball arcade machine.
In today's video, I create something big.
I mean, this content is fine. There's nothing wrong with this. This is, yeah, whatever. Do a little funny video about some project you did. But it doesn't have to come with this smattering and, you know, it doesn't have to come with this insane, big, massive helping of soy shit, right? Okay, and I mean, yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. It's just like pretty
What?
typical content. I don't know, dude. What can you really say about this? I mean, it looks fine. I don't really, just normal stuff. Ranking all Cheez-Its by which, I mean, the viewership obviously is quite low, but then he's probably going to have a lot of dead subs at 7.25 million subs. Well, let me ask you this. Has anyone watched I mean, I'm not asking this because I'm trying to get a certain answer. Let me put it like this. I'm sure that some people have watched one of his videos and been like, oh, that was fairly entertaining, right? Even if you are not particularly invested in Idubbbz as a person, you're probably like, oh, that was a fairly entertaining video. No? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at, Catsy Flocken. Exactly that, really. His new content is fine, but he cucks the content by being an absolute beta. Yeah, exactly. Like, this in and of itself is fine. It's the fact that he's got to dress it up in the way that he does that causes the problem. There was another clip that I saw too. Maybe I'll look at this full stream tomorrow. We'll see. Here we go. Nicholas shared it. I don't get this clip at all. You guys absolutely deserve to be investigated for a creator clash too.
They actually said, the lawyer said that they didn't believe us, that we lost money on the second year.
Yeah.
And they wanted us to like show our like back end basically, and show them that we lost money. They like said that they used the fucking Bowblax video as like proof.
What? Yeah, which is why.
Oh my god! No way! Yo! That's crazy. Crazy to see a Bowblax win out in the wild, eh?
Even though if you come out and you make videos where you aren't necessarily alleging things, but everything that you're saying is like an implication, it still fucking has real world consequences, and it's fucking
It was
bullshit.
crazy.
Some lawyer's trying to use this as
As an
fucking-
argument.
Yeah.
To like send us. So anyway, okay. So
Bowblax, Idubbbz. Bowblax fucking owns you, and he also owns your wife's pussy, because from my understanding, he subscribed to her OnlyFans. That is a rumor that I've heard. But yeah, dude, that is insane. So first of all, it's insane that a Bowblax video got referenced. But secondary to that, it's like, yeah, of course, you're doing a charity event. Like, this is insane. You did a charity event and you claimed that you lost money and therefore couldn't give the money to the charities that you were raising money for. That absolutely justifies scrutiny, because it sounds like that could be a potential scam, of course. Oh, we raised all this money but didn't raise enough, guys. Oops. We're going to do some extra streams. Obviously, that deserves scrutiny because that's insane. It's a potentially fraudulent issue. You sound shocked and appalled that lawyers poked around in their charity failure. I don't have access to the full Patreon segment, so I could be completely out of line here. Ian lecturing Bowblax on responsibility for his coverage on the biggest, most telegraphed failure of Anisa's Idubbbz career seems really funny to me. Criticism could be valid, but not from them. The dude that made Content Cop is complaining about having his charity event scrutinised that lost money to the point they had to do extra work to make up for it. You cannot make this up, bro. This dude made a career out of making entire videos, you know, surgically destroying someone's entire channel. And now he can't handle a bit of scrutiny about potential charity fraud. Potential. Yeah, it wasn't found. Great. You were just incompetent. But it's like, you did an event for charity that lost money and the charities weren't going to get fucking paid. Am I wrong about that? Am I missing something? Am I fucking missing something here? Is that not exactly what fucking happened?
Because it just, the shit, like, fuck it. It makes me angry.
the
It
accusations
makes me
of us
really angry.
stealing money makes me very angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, this is one of these things where, like, no one's going, or I would say, I haven't come across a video that explicitly states that we or anyone involved has, like, stolen money or whatever.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, with the irresponsible type of, like,
So there's no video that's explicitly stated it, but it's still a problem. I'm sure there's some channels that are a bit laissez-faire with how they talked about it. But it's not without information and unreasonable conclusion to look at the situation and go, hang on a minute, what's happened here? Right? Is there a possibility that money's been pocketed somewhere? That deserves scrutiny. That deserves attention. Fucking hell, dude. Oh, man. Why would you even talk? Also, funny to note about this, this is a paywalled podcast. So they've said all of this. Oh, God. Idubbbz is so pathetic now. He did this on a paywalled podcast. So presumably he thought that it was only his core audience that pays for it that was going to see this. Yes, this was all on a paywalled podcast. So it seems quite obvious to me the purpose of this is to have it in a way that isn't open to public scrutiny.
commentary videos
Yes.
and reporting. It's basically all like implied to the audience, and there's no amount of there's no amount of journalistic integrity to like take responsibility for like the message that you're spreading.
I know. Well, also there was
Kino Casino breached the paywall, or did they? I mean, it's like, I'm not going to watch it now because I've got some other stuff to get to. Maybe we'll get to it tomorrow. But yeah, it's a whole fucking podcast. I might just wait and see. I need to be careful because I've obviously got a fucking strike on my channel as it is, which is good. I think we're about halfway through it now. But yeah, I don't want to get struck.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Who either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. In the case of Idubbbz, instead of villain, it is scammer hack.
Okay. I covered this at the time. I feel like I just... Oh, dude. Someone's linked me the Big Bungie video. I just want to see Idubbbz in his own words. Creator Clash 2. Idubbbz. Yes, this is it. What did he even say in his video about this?
Hello, everyone. I have some bad news to share with you. I really don't want to share it. I feel terrible. This year has been a rough one, but this is the path that I chose, so I think it's best to be transparent. For Creator Clash 2, despite it being a fun event, and despite good fights and a lot of creators sacrificing a lot of time, money, and energy, we lost $250,000 on the event. The way that this typically works for anyone who's...
Is it really that crazy that someone would hear that and think, hold up, you lost a shitload of money on a charity event. What is going on there? And want to scrutinize that?
unaware is that once our expenses are paid off for the event, like all the minimums of broadcasting, the hotel, travel, all that sort of stuff, once that's all paid off, then we can start paying the charities. Unfortunately, we didn't even reach the break-even point, right? We're $250,000 in the red. I foolishly thought that the success of last year should be a minimum, a minimum for what we are able to do this year. And that wasn't true. There was a lot more to think about. I thought, okay, we're bringing on more talent, we're bringing on more creators. That should translate to more pay-per-view buys. We're inviting more creator guests. I think that should translate to more pay-per-view buys. This is our second time doing the event, so more people are going to know about it. So I thought that would translate to pay-per-view buys. But we did half as well as we did the first year. 50,000 compared to 100,000 the first year. So I was wrong, and I feel a lot of shame because a lot of people were trusting me and trusting our team to, protect the event and protect the charities and protect just the whole thing. It feels particularly bad because this isn't like a regular business where it's all a personal loss and I can just be like, oh, okay, I suck at business. And
This is the first time I've disagreed with you, Chud. On what grounds? I don't think I'm saying anything that crazy. My take is very simply, he released a video where he said, we lost $250,000 on a creator event. Excuse me for not taking Idubbbz at his fucking word. And thinking, yeah, there could absolutely be other things at play here that are worth looking into. At the very least, there's absolute incompetence that has happened here, if this is the case. But beyond that, there could easily be some sort of fraud happening that's worth scrutinizing. And it turns out there wasn't fraud, it was incompetence. But yeah, you've absolutely got to look into this.
Walk away from it. All the other fighters were, hoping that their charities got represented and got supported for all their hard work. But we didn't have any anti-piracy measures. We weren't prepared to deal with what ended up happening. I was just thinking, let's just avoid...
Okay, right, we've seen this before. Okay, you guys are saying about this video.
And all this raw entertainment had one purpose in mind.
It's one of the few things that I've done that's not driven by money.
I love that.
This is for a good cause.
We're here because of some great charities that I know you wanted to talk about.
Yeah. None of this was to put money in anyone's pocket. It was to put on an entertaining thing to raise money for charity.
The Creator Clash also donated a lot of their proceeds to charity. I'm not exactly sure how much.
Oh my god, dude.
How can you trust someone who has soy coming out of his pores? No evidence or anything, just his word is worth nothing.
Hey, thank you for the $10.
$4 million for charity, so...
Badass.
Yes.
All the profits are going to charity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there a payday in the future you guys are working towards?
No, not really.
And now we got to do it to help other people?
yeah, you can't do your get the bag fight. Sorry, Phil. There's no money for charity.
Dude. Yo! I love this. I've never seen this before. Content cop creator cash. Creator crash?
I love my girlfriend, and I'm totally fine with dudes jacking off the pictures of her on the internet.
Shake them tits.
Hi, yes, we're
Yo!
shaking your tits.
I just want one day in my life for someone to give me an excuse to shoot them. Is that an extreme opinion?
And I know you're gonna watch Creator Clash. I know you're gonna watch. Well, you're gonna pirate a charity event? Then I'll see you in hell.
I'm a person who advocates for black people all day, every day. Like, I learned that's my life. It's
We are going
Yo!
to remove every penis from every child, and every child that does not have a penis, we are going to.
I heard your voice. Anyway, listen, this is only supposed to be a short segment, okay? I'm not looking to... Where's the bit about the parties? Where's the money on the parties thing that you mentioned? It was a great intro. Is this the party thing?
The event bought out the Floridan Palace for $150,000, so they had a place to stay. These creators had nothing to do with the event and weren't associated with the event.
Wait, roll it back, here we go.
Another thing that's, you know, been eating at me is that someone is trying to take over Creator Clash. I know that sounds like I don't know, the plot of a video game or something, but it's real, and it's been taking up a lot of my time, so hopefully I don't have to talk about it in the future.
The guy trying to steal the company is Jake Paul. Unironically, that's actually real. He very lightly touches on buying out the hotel, which, by the way, cost $150,000. Leaves that part out. Basically, there were hundreds of invited creators. They got their tickets for free. The event paid for their flights to Florida.
I was literally at the event in Gala. I performed at the Gala. They flew me out and I stayed at the event's hotel and stayed at the hotel. So partially, yes. So yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, this is pure incompetence. Just, you know, well, I think it goes beyond incompetence even, right? To the point where it's like, it's not fraud. It's not like anything like that. But the fact that you're just spending money like this, it's shameful. It's shameful for a charity event that you're not being a bit smarter with how you're spending your money and you're just dishing it out left, right, and center to the point where it costs you money. Fucking hell, dude. It's known. No, it's not. Okay, well, what is it then? Unless this is all just a lie and none of this happened. You don't believe... Oh, you just don't believe the story. Okay. Wow. Listen, I've watched some of Big Bungie's videos. Big Bungie is evidently a racist, a transphobe, a bigot. All the badisms, AK based. But I don't know if he's someone who presents stuff, you know, non-factual information, right? I think that generally speaking, he tends to be quite accurate in the way he presents stuff, from what I've seen at least. You know, stories he's covered that I know a bit about, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's on the money with this, right? Thank you, Flames, for the Prime sub. Appreciate it.
And you know these fuckers weren't flying coach. So that's like, what, $2,000 each if they paid for a return flight? And the event bought out the Floridan Palace for $150,000, so they had a place to stay. These creators had nothing to do with the event and weren't associated with the event in any capacity. Examples of these creators include Hassan Piker, Frogan, Jax Film.
Wait!
Examples of these creators include Hassan Piker,
Frogan. Wait, Frogan. Wait, what? Frogan went. No way, dude. Frogan. What the fuck is Frogan bringing to the table? Frogan's a fucking humegalol. Yeah, I saw Denims was there. Yeah, maybe. Just, you know. Chud man, he didn't get the invite. I'm very mad about it.
Jax Films, Denims, Gus Johnson's friend, that guy that made the Ching Chong Hanji Polywong Patang Yang Chicka Bang Patang Yang Bang Chinese joke. I find it funny that these multimillionaires had to be paid to show their support for a charity event. Tens of thousands of dollars wasted so Anisa could talk to her favorite Twitch streamers.
If we didn't book the Creator Hotel when we did, I don't think we would have had nearly as many creators show up to show support. And our pay-per-view numbers actually could have been hurt by that.
It's shocking that didn't work out.
Dude, If you're like a big creator, like, pay your own way, surely. The only way that there's a point to be made here is if Big Bungie is just totally wrong on the facts of the matter here. Which is possible, I guess. But it kind of, you know, if this isn't true then, and you're saying this is just false, where did the money go? Okay? It adds up to me that if they're bear in mind, they're $250,000 down in the hole on this, okay? What other possible reason could it be if not overspending? Yeah, you can undersell your pay-per-view shit, but underselling pay-per-view, I don't think in and of itself gets you to minus 250k. I think that there has to be a lot of unnecessary expenditure to get to 250k down, right?
Really, because for darn's sakes, Denims was there. You've heard of her, Denims, the biggest female political streamer.
Yo!
You think she alone would bring in like 50 billion people? Think about this logically. You had less viewers and more invited streamers. If anything, they actually lost your viewers. If you hadn't invited these people and run the parties, you actually wouldn't be in the red, but I know you already know that. The gala was a creator-only party, and Anisa had a message in the group chat telling fighters to not invite too many non-creator guests, because
oh my god, wait, what is this?
The gala was a creator-only party, and Anisa had a message.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's just showing you the details of it, right?
In the group chat.
This is a creator-focused weekend, and we would like to be as accommodating as possible to the creator community. If you have additional guests who would like to attend, please submit all names in addition to your 4-person guest list, and we'll reply with approvals ASAP. Ooh.
Telling fighters to not invite too many non-creator guests because they didn't want Hassan Piker to feel too uncomfortable hanging around the scumfuck public.
Dude.
But wait, there wasn't just one gala, there were 4!
There will be a lot of parties before, day of, and red carpet event after. Please do not drink at the parties and the day before and the day of fights. If you don't have any concussion symptoms, you can party all you want the final day. Fucking hell, man. How much would that all have cost? Why do you need parties for this shit? Like, I get you want to have a little shindig or something at the end, maybe. Why on earth would you have so many different parties? You would just... Well, the reason is obvious, because this was a charity event, part of which was for their own clout and attention and stuff, right? But you have the fight, you do the party after, keep it on the down low, keep the costs low, right? If you got big creators coming, you say, look, you know, this is for charity, the drinks prices are a bit more to just help with that or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? These big, wealthy fucking content creators would surely be willing to put their hands in their pockets for a little bit extra to help out with the charity or something. Fucking hell, dude. Champagne charity. That's crazy. I don't know the ins and outs of what the costings of the parties were and stuff, but I would be shocked if there wasn't some money put up behind the bar for this. It sounds like that kind of shindig, doesn't it? But obviously, I don't know 100%.
I was told there were another 2 or 3 influencer parties.
There are 2 or 3 parties with open... Yeah, there it is. There are 2 or 3 parties with open bars and caterers. Okay. I mean, this is just a Twitter comment, but I can easily believe that. Again, just because of the amount they were in the hole.
Each having an open bar. Based on Cutie Cinderella's after party costing $50,000, these sorts of things tend to be quite expensive. It's not impossible that they spent more than $200,000 on parties. They spent a minimum of $50K on the public gala. The hotel cost $30K. They hired the comedian Troy Bond for $20,000 to do a 10-minute comedy set.
Get the fuck out of here. Let me earn my $20,000.
They also had Getty Images doing photography for them. Then there's also security and catering costs. This was a minimum of $50,000 of charity money wasted because Idubbbz needs 4 separate influencer parties to work through the trauma of his fight.
We did the fight, and then I went to bed. I got the shit kicked out of me by Dr. Mike, and then I went to bed, and then I woke up, the hotel was empty, and then I got on a flight and traveled 5 hours with my face completely swollen back to Seattle, and I was like, that was cool, that was so worth it. There was nothing, there was no processing my trauma, there was no talking to anyone and relating about the experience afterward. Everyone was gone.
Can't your wife help you with that?
Okay, dude.
Oh yeah, I forgot, she doesn't love you. So here are the profits of Creator Clash 2. They made 50,000 pay-per-view times $20 each makes $1 million. 17,000 tickets times a median of $50 makes $850,000. Sponsors, you had Fansly, Crash Bandicoot, bunch of others. I would say they made close to $1 million, maybe more on sponsors. Mainly because Anisa says that for the next Creator Clash, they're
off depressed people.
Correct me if I am wrong, but don't charity galas collect donations from the guests? This seems like a childish attempt to role-play a real celebrity.
I mean, yeah, sure. We learned a lot from our mistakes, including realizing we need to make it a free live event with guaranteed funding. We'll be bringing the same charities back on next year with a fixed budget and a preset amount of money and companies matching donations that can be done. Yeah, I mean, dude, this is like basic shit.
planning to make the event free to view and rely on sponsors and fundraisers, meaning that the money made from sponsors must at least be comparable to the pay-per-view sales, maybe even more so. So I'm going to say that they probably made like $1 to $2 million on sponsors. So they made between $2 and $3 million, even with the increased venue and security.
See, this is the thing, is like, there's obviously room for error here, right? I don't think Big Bungie is doing anything wrong in trying to guess. It's fine to kind of guess a little bit, but it's quite clear that's what he's doing. Like, obviously, these are not conclusive figures. But, yeah, I mean, they must have spent an absolute ton of money. I mean, in some ways, it seems to... It would have been better if they'd not put the event on and just given a bunch of money to charity. That would have been the way better outcome for all of this. Yeah, sure. It's quite convincing. It's a fair argument. But I'm just highlighting that, like, you know, I don't know if there's anywhere that's got the exact figures on this.
Cost, it ain't making much of a dent.
Bowblax's
So
video?
all of the costs come from the fighter pay, which was definitely more than $20,000 each. I think it's fair to assume, on average, the fighters got paid like $50,000 or so, including the $20,000 training money, which means they spent around $1.2 million on fighters, which sounds reasonable to me. $1.2 million on fighters, something like $1.5 million on general event costs, and then like $200,000 to $300,000 on parties, which put them in the red. That'd be my guess. Obviously, it'd be way easier to find out if they were actually transparent about where their money was going, which is something a non-profit organization should be doing. But Creator Clash is a non-profit in name only. They're not actually a registered non-profit organization, and none of the charities filled in their 990s properly, so I can't tell how much money Creator Clash gave out.
I mean, that's like clear accusation. Okay, Nerd York Times, you're literally the one guy that's saying retarded shit. What do you mean? The event was $250,000 down. Yes, there was some inappropriate spending clearly that happened. Anisa herself is claiming that she's learnt lessons from it, right? Yeah, the allegation is you were frivolous with your fucking money and you're not transparent, so we got to guess as to where the money fucking went.
To each charity. According to Epic Mealtime, Idubbbz lied about giving Froggy's charity $100,000, and it was actually an anonymous donation from two of the fighters, which Idubbbz took.
Okay, right. Anyway, I just wanted to see the party thing, really. Obviously, the video's there if you want to go and watch the rest of it. Let's have a look at this Bowblax video that caused so much controversy. I just don't understand how you can be so mad with Bowblax for making a video being critical of your abortionate effort to do a charity event. Twitter versus... Is this the one? Twitter versus Idubbbz event raising zero. Is this the
A
right
couple
video?
days ago, Idubbbz uploaded a video talking about how their charity influencer boxing event Creator Clash 2 put them $250K in the hole, meaning that they didn't make a profit and couldn't donate any money to the charities. Gun News tweeted about this in a very unfavorable way, and then Kinocopter responds asking Froggy Fresh for his thoughts. Froggy Fresh, of course, being one of the fighters that was going to be on Creator Clash 2, but got kicked for associating with an internet enemy of Idubbbz, Sam Hyde. He responds to Kinocopter by saying, "I don't want to get sued, but since people are at me, I can only confirm kids can't."
Okay, the reason that it's absurd for them to be upset on the podcast is twofold for me. One is the fact that Idubbbz has made a career out of scrutinizing and criticizing others. You know, Content Cop is one of the most successful series of videos he did, right? And he went into granular detail about stuff that, if we're honest, doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, okay? It was just a way of shitting on a fucking shitty YouTuber. And that's fine. He can do that. It's fine. Make whatever comment you want on someone's shitty channel, right? But then when the shoe's on the other foot, and on top of that as well, we're talking about potential charity fraud, he complains about getting scrutinized. It's like, you're a hypocrite for having built your career on these fucking content cop videos. And secondary to that, you're being scrutinized for a totally legitimate, correct reason. You were $250,000 down on a charity event, and people are like, where the fuck did the money go? Anyway, I'm not going to get one guide anymore. Okay? Where's the breakdown?
Cancer
stuff?
Foundation of Royal Palm Beach, Florida, received $50K along with Nicholas Children's Hospital before the event happened. They were told that it was only the beginning, but weren't given more or given answers until the founder of Children's Cancer Foundation reached out to them. I'd also like to add that the founder of Kids Cancer Foundation got a call back in response to her email from someone on the...
Okay, sorry, I've got the wrong video, guys, by the way. This is not what I was looking for. My bad. I've got it here. I just got to see what was in this video that's causing them to have such a fucking meltdown to where they've got to go on a private
So before I get into explaining the research I did to come to the conclusion that I posted in the title, I first and foremost want to say that despite the fighters getting potentially paid quite a bit to do this charity boxing event, a lot of money will end up going to charity through this event, in addition to the fighters getting paid a lot. And I don't personally have an issue with these content creators getting paid for the work they are putting in to put on a great show for everybody. My issue is more with the deceptive marketing coming from Idubbbz's channel as well as the Creator Clash socials on how much money is being given to charity versus the creators who Idubbbz and Creator Clash are paying to fight for them. Because I guarantee majority of people who are watching this video either assume that all of the money is going to charity or that the creators are being paid a small amount and the vast majority of the proceeds are going...
Any charity event, you assume there's going to be costs associated with it, okay? And the costs are going to be minimal and reasonable. And that clearly wasn't the case with this event. Clearly there was a lot of splurging that happened, which I think would go beyond most people's reasonable interpretation of what a charity event is going to be, right?
Going to charity, which I really don't think is the case. And let me tell you why. So as many of you guys know by now, the YouTuber Idubbbz is hosting an upcoming charity boxing event called Creator Clash, where many YouTubers who normally don't box are getting paid to box by Creator Clash, with any of the excess proceeds made from the event going straight to charities. Now, 2 weeks ago, one of the creators who was set to fight against Chris Ray-Gun in Creator Clash, Froggy Fresh, ended up getting kicked from the event for what has only been described as violating a legally binding code of conduct, which our best guess at the moment to what this violation is this comment he made about Idubbbz's wife Anisa's OnlyFans while trying to roast Chris Ray-Gun on Twitter.
If I don't hurt you beyond what anybody could have imagined, I will be so disappointed in myself that I will subscribe to Anisa's OnlyFans.
Obviously, Froggy Fresh was not happy with the sudden...
Dude, it was such a... It was like such a nothing comment. Such a nothing comment that got spun into this big thing. That was a fun drama when it happened. But yeah, that fucking Epic Mealtime guy was kicking off about it. Fucking
removal of him from the event. But people involved in Creator Clash, such as Harley Plays from Epic Mealtime, the announcer for the event Akinola, and most recently another fighter called Alana, have spoken out in defense of Ian and Anisa's decision to kick Froggy Fresh from the event. And in Alana's case specifically, she went onto her YouTube channel to contest the accusation that Froggy Fresh made on Twitter, claiming that Creator Clash is threatening to sue Froggy Fresh for the $15,000 they gave to him for...
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stories. It was that, or it was an association with Sam Hyde. It was apparently other family-based insults that were happening. There's lots of reasoning or ideas thought of as to why it was, right? I think the reality is they just recognized that he was a bit of a loose cannon, and he was knocking about with people like Sam Hyde making comments about the OnlyFans, and it bothered them, and they got rid of him. Even though, from what I can see, it all seemed kind of in line with what you normally see at kind of boxing event and stuff. Fucking crazy. Well, I think the thing is they pointed to, oh, well, Epic Mealtime trained with Sam Hyde, but I think that was before the big drama, I believe, happened between Sam Hyde and Idubbbz. So I think it was like a new context, maybe. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, obviously it was an absurd decision to get rid of Froggy Fresh for essentially a bit of shit talking at worst, right?
For training purposes.
Tyler, Froggy Fresh, was given $15,000 for training purposes. And what they did was send him a letter saying, hey, can we have the $15,000 back? The reason they did that was because now that he's no longer fighting because of breach of contract, he had to be replaced. That money that was given to him is just taken out of charity at this point. But the $15,000 thing, again, is not them suing him for $15,000. That's them asking him if they can have the money that they loaned him back for the fight, because that money is being taken out of the charity directly, because that's how it works, right? They have to give money.
Oh my God, it is so funny looking back on this. All this fuss getting made over this 15K, and I can't even remember what happened with that. Whether it got paid back or not. Probably not, right? Or only for the event to lose money. I mean, this person was just coping and sweeping. They were literally sweeping.
To the other fighter for training purposes. And if that's just $15,000 that they no longer have access to for somebody who's no longer participating in the fight, that is $15,000 wasted that otherwise would be going to one of these charities. So
obviously the accusation that Froggy Fresh is trying to take $15K away from charity is a pretty severe one. So Froggy Fresh went onto his Twitter to make a response to Alana's claim.
Elena Pierce is misinforming the public, saying that I'm taking money off the table for charity. Okay? The money I used to train was an advance on my purse. It had nothing to do with the charity organizations. All the fighters are receiving a purse to fight. That money was an advance on that purse. It was coming out of my purse. That's it. So I would have a smaller purse on fight night. That's it. Now what I'm willing to do to show you how dedicated I am to charity, I'm willing to donate the rest of my purse to charity, as well as my portion of profits from ticket sales and pay-per-view sales that all the fighters are splitting. I'll donate both of those to charity. That means doing it for absolutely nothing. Nothing. I'll donate the rest of my purse and...
Yeah, I wish they stopped saying purse, man. It sounds gay, doesn't it? That was a big term that got used. Purses are for women, not men.
The profits that my portion of profits fighters are splitting from pay-per-view and ticket sales. Will any other fighter do that? Because I'll do that. And JDN wants to put up 100K. Take the money for charity.
So after Froggy made that video, obviously Keemstar tweeted about it, and an adamant defender of Idubbbz and Anisa, as well as the announcer for Creator Clash, Akinola, responded to Keemstar, confirming what Froggy Fresh claimed by sharing the detail that all net profits are going to charity, meaning that only once the revenue from Creator...
Ballsack. I don't know. I know it's a common term that's used, okay? The purse, I get it, okay? I'm just saying it's a bit gay, all right? Purse is a gay term. It sounds like what two homosexuals would say to one another. Oh, give me that purse. Oh, certainly. That's all I'm saying. Come up with a less gay name.
Creator Clash
all
passes the threshold to break even for whatever they paid the creators to fight, as well as any other operational costs. Only then any extra money will go to the charities, which is a far different outcome than what was promoted by both Idubbbz and all of the creators involved in the event. Not only are they getting paid an initial amount to fight for Idubbbz event that is for them and not for charities, but they also get a percentage of the pay-per-view money all the way up until that pay-per-view revenue is considered to be breaking even, which is cool. I think they should be paid for their work, but then they would be raising money for charity in addition to getting paid to fight, rather than what they are implying, which is that they are fighting only for charity.
Okay, this is the thing for me. If Bowblax is wrong about this, or he's got something wrong, why don't they lay out where he's wrong? Right? I mean, especially the context of the event losing money. I mean, this all seems fairly reasonable and a fair... I mean, obviously, you're relying on people who are maybe against Creator Clash saying something. But yeah, you'd surely be able to disprove this if it was not exactly how it's presented, right? Like, just show the contracts and stuff for the fighters and show exactly what was agreed.
So cool and exciting, and it's all for charity, of course. I'm such a big...
Yeah, exactly. Show the books. Yeah. Hey, guys, there's been a lot of commentary on the event. I understand we fucked up when we lost money. but here's the full fucking financial information presented, you know, this is what this is, that's what that is. And then third parties obviously would look at it and probably be retarded and interpret it wrong. But then you'd have people that would be able to come through, have got book, you know, knowledge about the books and shit. Be able to scrutinize it and say as much, right?
Proponent of doing things for
Seems
charity.
obvious.
It's a big thing that drives my entire online experience.
A fighter got fired for breaching his contract. Would I have fired him? Irrelevant. Would you have kept him? Irrelevant. Are they allowed to fire him? Yes, absolutely. So what happened? You're going to turn on charities? Yeah, I'm boxing for charity. It's a good cause and it's going down no matter what.
Oh, you're gonna pirate a charity event? Then I'll see you in hell. It's not ego. It's not about that. It's about the charity that I'm fundraising for, so.
And all this raw entertainment had one purpose in mind.
It's one of the few things that I've done that's not driven by money.
I love that.
This is for a good cause.
We're here because of some great charities that I know you wanted to talk about.
Yeah. None of this was to put money in anyone's pocket. It was to put on an entertaining thing to raise money for charity.
The Creator Clash also donated a lot of their proceeds to charity. I'm not exactly sure how much.
Okay, I thought this was fake. Sorry, just going back to the Frogan thing. Frogan's got me blocked. Dude, it's always so funny when some retard weighs in on lolcow shit they don't really understand. Dude, it's Daniel Larson, bro. I've obviously seen a bit of this, and I know that they're like a lolcow Kiwi Farms kind of character. And did I cover that? I think I spoke briefly about it. But yeah, this guy's like fucking insane. I don't know the ins and outs of what happened, but yeah, I mean, even if I thought the way I did about this stuff, and I was also a lefty, I would not be tweeting out this about this guy. I do not care for Frogan. She's called me a slur on Twitter. I mean, to be fair, you probably deserved it based on what you were saying earlier.
Over $1 million for charity, so.
Badass.
Yes.
All the profits are being
It is
going
real,
to charity.
though.
Yeah. Yes.
Is there like a payday in the future you guys are working towards?
No, not really.
And now we got to do it to help other people?
yeah. You can't do your get the bag fight. Sorry, Phil.
Now, obviously, I expected the fighters to get paid some amount of money to do this, whether it be to cover the cost of training or to cover the cost of whatever revenue they'll lose by doing this instead of making money doing the regular content creation, because obviously training for a boxing event is a huge time commitment, which takes away from time to make content, which is how they normally make their money. So while I was pretty disappointed by the lack of transparency from Idubbbz, if it's just to cover the more practical costs of stuff, I don't really think it's that deceptive or that important to call out. But obviously the title references an amount of money that is a little more than the bare necessity. So how did I come to this number? Well, an MMA/boxing writer, Donna Corby, last year tweeted out that the first Creator Clash sold at least 100k pay-per-view. This is an account that is followed by Idubbbz, and the tweet talking about the amount of pay-per-view sales was liked by Idubbbz's opponent in the last Creator Clash, Dr. Mike. Not 100% solid confirmation that this number is accurate, but pretty damn close. Now, I actually went to the Creator Clash in person last year, and the tickets cost...
Okay, so this is the thing I've got a problem with, is Bowblax is calculating it based on this.
About 55 Canadian dollars for me. Obviously, if you convert that to USD, that would be maybe closer to $40. Also, I'm pretty sure the tickets are more expensive than the pay-per-view. And there's early bird sales that cost a little less. So let's just round it to 30 USD. I think that's a pretty accurate amount for all of the potential variations. So by doing simple math, we can times 30 by 100,000 and come out with an amount of $3 million. Now, if you were paying attention earlier in the video to when I showed the trailer for Creator Clash, Idubbbz showed a tweet where Creator Clash announced that they raised $1.3 million for charity. And with the total proceeds of Creator Clash 1 being at least $3 million, that means that the leftover amount that they paid for operational costs and the fighters is approximately $1.7 million. And again, this number is on the lower side, as we know over 100,000 pay-per-views were sold. We just don't know the exact amount, so this is the lowball minimum estimate. Now, obviously, that amount is also going to operational costs, not just the fighters, but I can't imagine those extra operational...
Yeah, I mean, listen, like, if you really have got a problem with the way that these are being presented, just release your figures. Release it to the public. Release the books. Let people know what the ins and outs are. like obviously you're going to have people speculating and discussing it because it's such an absurd thing that you would lose $250,000 on a charity event, right? I mean, it's just like a crazy concept.
Costs being that much, considering
Release
that
the
Creator
books!
Clash
Release the
1 was held
Kraken!
in Yulang Center, which had a capacity of 10K, and a venue like that would probably cost maybe 20K to rent out for the night, potentially more, even if we round it all the way up to 100K in operational costs, and then stack up another 100K for hiring the commentators or the announcer or security or anything else other than the fighters. That still leaves 1.5 million to split amongst the 24 fighters, meaning that each fighter is personally making within the ballpark of $60,000 that is just for them and not going to charity at all, which sounds quite a bit different than the image Idubbbz showed in his latest Creator Clash 2 video, where he tries to brag that his event is better than other influencer boxing events because all of the profit goes to charity, when that's not the case.
See, this is the problem, isn't it? All profit goes to charity. There is this kind of unspoken rule with charity events that the costs are going to be minimized, right? Because you're thinking, well, I'm giving money to charity. I'm not going to want money spent on extravagant things. It should be bare bones. So yeah, definitely the criticism to be made here of like, yeah, you're saying all profit goes to charity to make it sound good. But if you're having high expenditure, that makes that far less impressive. All profit goes to charity, guys, but we spent a load of money on expensive parties you didn't need. But that then obviously counts as your cost. Yeah, it's like the trick the Completionist did, talking about how they needed money from super chat or from bits and stuff to cover costs, but the costs were like potentially excessive. Yeah, there's just no defending this, dude. Like, at the very least, insane incompetence in the running of the event, if not, you know, excessive expenditure, which was beyond the bounds of what you'd think of for a charity, right? Something like that.
All of the profit goes to charity and to the fighters who get paid to be in your charity boxing event. I don't know how Idubbbz and the rest of the Creator Clash fighters can be like, hey, we're better than these other events. We're actually doing it for charity. We're doing it for a good cause.
Well, the thing is, the reason you get away with it is because you would just count expenditure for fighters as part of the cost before profit, right? Well, yeah, you know, we made this profit, we had to pay this much to the fighters, but that's our cost, even though the cost may be excessive. It's it's like a little trick, isn't it?
We don't care about getting the bag, getting a good payday. It's all just for the kids with cancer. Then at the same time, these creators get paid thousands of dollars to do this event. Again, I don't have an issue with them making money off of doing months of work to put on a great event for us all to watch. That also helps to...
Like, yeah, like, if you're paying a fighter, it should be at cost, right? You should cover base costs. And if you have to take time off of your YouTube channel, it should be, no one should be financially benefiting from doing a charity event, right? If anything, it should like cost you a bit because that's the point of doing a charity event, or you should be at a complete absolute break even level, right? But yeah.
Go to a good cause with some of the proceeds going to charity, but you can't claim to be better than other events just because the organization you're working for donates some of their money to charity. That's like being a McDonald's employee and bragging that you're better than the Wendy's employee because all of McDonald's cookie sales go to charitable causes. Okay, some of the money that McDonald's makes goes to a good cause, but you're still being paid the same amount as that Wendy's employee, so you're not really better than them. You're still working at McDonald's to get a paycheck, just like the Wendy's employee. And these fighters in Creator Clash are still fighting to get a paycheck, just like how some creators in Misfits Boxing or DAZN would be getting paid. It's just that Creator Clash donates some of their proceeds to charity, and those organizations don't. But at least they're not utilizing charities to push for more sales when a huge portion of the revenue from those sales aren't even going to charity, but rather the pockets of the fighters who have sacrificed so much of their time to entertain us all all on April 15th.
Another thing I have to mention, last year we uploaded the entire broadcast to my channel like a week after it aired live. This year we're not doing that, so I don't want anyone to be like, oh, I'll just wait till it comes out on Idubbbz' channel a week after the event. It's just like...
That's funny as well, because obviously part of the making the money for charity after they lost a bunch of money was he had to react to it live, right? He went live and reacted to it on his stream. Another broken promise.
Like a bad decision if we want to drive as much traffic as possible to the broadcast itself and to have as much money as possible raised for charity. If you want more ways of supporting Creator Clash and the charities involved, we have merchandise. Before we look at this year's fight card, I want to address all of the fighters from last year who aren't returning. Pretty much all of them wanted to fight again. It seems like they're all keen to do it again, which surprised me.
Damn. Yeah, it's mind-boggling to me that he's shocked that he's receiving scrutiny for a total fuck-up. Hearing myself and others get blamed for such ridiculous shit in a paywall podcast is the biggest win acknowledgement ever. This is my personal we got Bin Laden moment. Yeah. Paywall podcast, he's doing this, hoping that he doesn't get scrutiny. Naming individuals, calling them out for apparently bad coverage, not providing any evidence to back up why the coverage was bad. Just, yeah, they talked about it and they did it wrong, and they were plotting and scheming the whole time. Tragic. Absolutely tragic for Idubbbz. I don't even know who this is. It doesn't say, but they're either private or blocked me. Tragic. Tragically blocked by someone. Yeah, it's fucking rat behavior, dude. God, how far this dude has fallen is crazy. He is morally and intellectually bankrupt. Well, I don't really care about getting blocked. I just think it's funny to point out if it's like a funny thing, but I'm, genuinely, I'm very pleasant on Twitter. I think quote tweeting and shit can be a bit cringe. I do it sometimes, but I don't really get into it. Also, it's annoying being blocked by someone on Twitter because if I want to speak about them, I can't do it as easily because I don't see the tweet in the first place, It's like Asana's got me blocked on Twitter, but it's not a good thing. It's, if anything, makes it harder if there's something I want to talk about and it's like, oh, I don't see it. I don't see it in the first place.